Hello, and welcome back to Whirly Swirly Craft on the Scarworld Season 2 server. So this episode, we are going to work on following up where we left off last episode in preparing the build palette for the general look of the area. Now, I'm not actually going to get to building or using those things yet, because I'm going to set up the systems for acquiring them, and I'm not ready yet to start removing the grass and coming up with how the region's going to look from a structural standpoint until I have more farms in place so that I kind of know what I need to build around. But for now, as discussed at the end of the last episode, I want to focus on getting bee-related things done so that we can have honeycomb and honey blocks. Oh, hello. Hello. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to pause for a moment because I waste way too much time trading with these guys. And I want a bunch of these things. So let's get back to the intro in just a moment. And he's got one more thing to trade. Thank you. All right, so post interruption of a wandering trader, as you can see, I cleaned him out. Every single item he had for sale. I still don't really know what I'm going to do with these things, but I also collected his heads. And time to get back to the intro. I have no idea where I left off. So, very quick rundown. Bee farm. Bee farm next. Man, I have no idea what I told you already. So there might be some redundancy in here. I'm going to do 2 dual purpose or dual lane silos that will cover the bee farm. So in brief, one side will come down as the raw product, so like honeycomb, which both honeycomb and honey blocks do not require a crafting table. You can craft them in your inventory. So I'll take out the honeycomb, craft it in my inventory, dump any remaining honeycomb and the honey bricks into here. They'll go into the Whirly Swirly, swirl, 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 and they will redistribute. So the blocks or the bricks are over here, the raw is over here. The above ground barrels are both input barrels. So input of raw materials and finished product, input of shulkers. And there will be a shulker loader under here, and the filled shulkers will come up here with the final product, which will be the bricks, or in the case of the other silo, honey blocks. Also, the honey block silo will be doing double duty, because one side will be honey bottles and honey blocks, but when you craft honey bottles into honey blocks, you get empty bottles. So when I put in the empty bottles, they will also be sorted by the Whirly Swirly, but they will go, instead of to a silo, back to the bee farm to replenish the bee farm with empty bottles. So I'm gonna jump on this, get the silos built, and we're gonna go with the central build style, though the color palette's going to be appropriate for honey products. And after that, this will give me, kind of a definition of the area so that I can start mapping out where I'm going to build the bee farm proper. So without further delay, let's get on it. All right, 2 in 1 episode. All right, let's montage this. And silo's done. All right. Hey, look, there's a bee inspecting it right now, probably wanting at his honey. See him up there? He's looks a little sad, doesn't he? All right. So that was quite a bit of work, and I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the way it came out. We get the input silos, you know, or harvester arms, and oh, looky there. Iron ingot is on its last light. Can't make simple jumps in this game. Alright, let me make some room real quick. Alright. Well, we don't want it to overflow. I'll make more of those at some point in the near future, I'm sure. We don't really need to go over this very much. You guys know how this works. There is the chest with the raw material, the returns chest that will put stuff back in the Whirly Swirly, be it raw materials or final product. Final product will go here. Shulker loader input, shulker loader output. Simple. Alright. We also have, I installed a way into the, excuse you, that's rude. The shulker loader area, I put an entrance to it just in case anything goes wonky, you know, or if you need to come down here and check it. But otherwise, there's no need to be down here. Would you stop that? I'm trying to talk to people. Thank you. So the harvester arms here, the return or the delivery arms, had a little additional challenge because in order to center them like this, they need to be one apart, and you can't, you know, if you're surrounding things with trapdoors, I can't have a trapdoor on the inside because it's, you know, there'd be a trapdoor on this side and a trapdoor on this side, and they can't occupy the same block. But that introduced an opportunity to kind of vary up the block palette a little bit. But I think that's all we need to say about this. It's pretty straightforward. Oh, hello. His camouflage doesn't work very well when he's walking through bees. So the next thing I've done is I've started to kind of plan out where the bee farm will be. And I wanted to kind of lay this out a little bit so I could explain it better on camera, rather than fumble with the placing and replacing. And This may not be final, but it probably will be. So I want to kind of explain what's going to happen here. What I'm going to do is there's a problem, and briefly, I'm not sure if I've covered this before, but this mechanism has, I don't know if I want to call it a flaw, but it can have a problem. And that is, and let's ignore that button because it's not doing anything. When a beehive is filling up, like that one's 4 or 5, when you put a comparator on it, it takes 1 power signal per honey level. So these are 0 at the moment. That third one over there is, well, it was 4 or 5, but it just became 5 or 5 and triggered. But as it powers up, the signal wraps around, and at signal strength 5, it makes it up to here and triggers a dispenser, which harvests the honey. Now the problem with this system is that if one of the dispenser spots is empty, there's a chance when it triggers that it, I guess, picks the empty spot, which doesn't make sense to me because dispensers shouldn't pick empty spots. But nonetheless, what will happen is it will fail on its trigger. It will not empty the beehive, which means the signal strength stays at 5, and it never re-triggers because the power stays on. And it effectively breaks or shuts off that particular hive. And so I've come up with a solution. So the first part of the solution is, ideally, that the dispensers are never empty. But we can't guarantee that, right? Because that's not automation. Right? That's a manual input of putting in the new shears or new empty bottles. That's fine, you know, not farms aren't always 100% automated, but since it requires some kind of manual input, it risks running into a scenario where it shuts off. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull a signal off of the hoppers, probably the last, or I guess first hopper in line, the supply hopper. That says when this hopper is empty, it's going to draw a signal, and that signal is going to come down, and it's going to power a torch, or turn off a torch that is keeping a torch from turning on. And so I want to illustrate what the point is to doing that. We're going to use a dispenser. We're going to pretend this dispenser is a beehive. And in fact, we're going to remove this so it doesn't empty dispenser. So we'll pretend that this is a beehive. And the beehive, let's get these out of our inventory. And let's borrow a redstone dust, just for visual purposes here. So, as you can see, now it's pulling off a signal from the thing that's in front of it. In that case, it'll be a beehive. And the dust behind is getting powered. Well, if we are running out of supplies, we want to block that signal from making it up to the top so that it can't get stuck in an always-on state. We don't want it to trigger if the dispenser is not full. So we need to pull the signal off of the last hopper that is common to the entire chain, which means probably the hopper above this one. But it'll send a signal down when it's empty, and it will power. So we'll have a dust here, and it will power a redstone lamp, or a redstone torch, which will block the signal. And this will allow the farm to shut itself off before it runs out of supplies. And that will prevent us from ever having to go into the farm and pick up all the redstone dust and place it all back down, even after it's been restocked. So that's what this design is about. And so I'm splitting these up in pairs so that I can run a signal between them. And I'm doing 10 per side. I don't know if that's a lot. It's obviously more than I need. But that works out, I think, from a spacing standpoint. It gives me a little room behind it to do some decorating before we get to the edge of the world. So I'm going to get started on setting up the groundwork. I don't have enough beehives yet that are full, and I'm going to build a structure around it before I put the beehives in because I don't want the bees to escape. But let me get to starting this because there's a lot of hoppers to place, and I got to figure out how I'm going to run the redstone, and yeah, you know, the things in between. So let's, I guess, kick into another time lapse. So as if Creeper Bob, the building inspector, wasn't enough, the inspector's office sent another engineer to verify the functionality of my constructions. But since Railway Janny didn't blow up, I'm assuming it passed inspection. Alright, I think it's done. I think it's done. I mean, I say that, I'm going to find something. But I think it's done. Well, I mean, it's not done in the fact that it's working. It's just, it's built. I don't think I have to place any more blocks that are not bee and flower related. But it's done. It's done. So, quick tour before the bees come in. And I don't have enough, I don't think I have enough full beehives to fill it out at the moment, but mostly close enough, right? So the beehives will go into here in these spots. But there will be, I wanted to have 2 spaces here because I wanted the bees to kind of fly out a little bit. But this will be a row of flowers, probably poppies. And I cleaned up the back area and mob-proofed it. Once again, it's the behind-the-scenes area. I mean, I cleaned it up nicer so it's not open stone, but beyond that, I'm not too worried about, like covering up the ceiling. So hopefully I haven't cut off any other redstone, and this is working. In fact, we can tell that that line is now live because we can see the signals making it all the way to here. I think that's true. No, that's not true. We won't know until there's actually items in the thing. Okay. And to that point, I guess I need to make sure I put back the hoppers. I think that's it. Right. So here's where it's pulling off this hopper. Good. And the hopper line is going. So that's good. So this side's definitely ready to go. So all we need are bees and flowers and shears and 14 million empty bottles. So the empty water bottles will come here. This is where, the Whirly Swirly has a filter for empty water bottles. So no matter where I put them into the system, they'll end up back here. Most of the time it'll be from crafting honey bottles. And it looks like we're pretty much full. Good grief. Alright, it looks like he didn't manage to do any damage. Oh man. I've been so angry. Alright, that was rude. So, as I was saying, it looks like this is filled up. So we're good to go. Alright, perfect, it's full. Alright, I'm gonna breed up some more bees and get this side ready, and we'll come back for the final. Alright, that's yeah, we're so out of time. So out of time. As you can see, I did a little bit of exterior work while breeding up bees and just kind of, doing some final touches. The honey side is not completely active yet because, well, I need more glass bottles. I did some math, and I think I'm in the neighborhood of needing 380 stacks of glass just to get this thing up and running, which I think is like 17 shulkers of glass. So that's gonna take a little while, but that's fine. It's fine, it's something we can do over time. But I think that's it. That's all we got. I said I'm definitely well over time, And you know, this was an incredible project. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort to put it together. I mean, I know that we look at it when it's done and it doesn't look like it took a whole lot, but well, I built this building I built in a 18-hour marathon, which kind of makes me wish that I did streaming, because it was definitely a pro streaming thing. But I wanted to get it done, and I wanted to get it out for you guys in this episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you have any questions about it or opinions or whatever, right? Let me know. That's what the comment section's for. But I'm gonna cut out here and let you guys get on with your day. And I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, my videos. These really take a lot of time and they take a lot of effort, and I like it. I have fun with it, but it's kind of nice to know some people are watching. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you on the next episode.